real lip gloss.
Foam wrap in the bottle.
Where is it? I know my little try.
Yep.
Got
you
right
right
now. But I have to get off the phone, so I'll call back. Or Eric, send me the stylist number, and I'll call her back later. Okay, thank you. Bye.
We're recording. They're gonna say I asked you a little phone camera.
Did you put a cord on this one?
Yeah.
My lip gloss is popping.
You don't want to get something from them? Nothing? Like, something from them?
No, let's go, girl. It's on you now. All right. 3 seconds. Now y'all just jump in and make it a conversation. Yeah, I hit everybody. I double check it. Look, we'll just jump in, make it a conversation. But Tammy, you lead the conversation. Okay. Everything is recorded. All right.
We need some water.
All right. So 3 seconds. All right, so Tammy, I know you have a lot of things on your heart, a lot of challenges. You faced a lot of beasts to be where you are, and you definitely have a passion. So therefore, you see the beauty of our industry as well. So, just share with us, man. As much as you can, your beast and your beauty.
Okay. Well, I actually have a few beasts, as a lot of us do. But reason why I say I have a few, because I do so many different things in the industry. I distribute for Kirk products, so I go around to salons and I talk to hairstylists a lot. I am a hairstylist behind a chair as well during the week when I am not working Babyliss Pro. And then for Babyliss Pro, I'm an educator and platform artist where we do shows and we have a team. But I just see so many different things in the industry going on that I wish we could change so that we all could do better. And if I could come up with one word, that word would be commitment. I don't feel like we commit. We have great ideas, we want to do this and we want to do that, but then we all have these fears that you talked about, Kevin, that hold us back. And the one thing that we need to do first and foremost is commit to a God and commit to ourselves. Mm-hmm. Because without that, you're not going to reach your destiny. Mm-hmm. We're out here for a purpose. And so as a distributor going around to different salons, I, see hairstylists fail to commit on doing better behind the chair, failing to commit to take classes to better their skills. And it's just hard because I feel like my purpose is to help others. And when I walk in your salon, yeah, I got Kirk Pro products, but behind that is a product that I'm trying to offer you to help change your skill set behind the chair so you can make more money. You know what I'm saying? And then classes that you can attend to, better your skills as well. It's all to help build what we got going on.
So your challenge, your beast is you're trying to help people, mm-hmm. but they ain't trying to help themselves.
Right. Mm-hmm. And it, honestly, Kevin, you always say I'm emotional, which I am emotional, but it really hurts me. Mm-hmm. It hurts me that I'm out here giving it all I got to help people, mm-hmm. and it's almost like they don't want it. Right. Mm-hmm. And I understand you can't help somebody if they don't want to, if they not willing to help themselves. And that'd be one of my struggles too, because I'd be like, man, I don't want no help, whatever, move on to the next. I'm going to help those out there that want my help. But when I leave, it still bothers me that I couldn't help that person. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So that's my struggle within the industry. I feel like as a whole, we need to change our mindsets. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I don't feel like the industry is gonna get any better until we do. Now, I came in the industry. I'm originally from Jackson, Mississippi. I came in the industry actually 11 years ago now, and I at first wanted to. I was like you, Ricky. I went to college and didn't know what I wanted to do. And but when I moved here, and at the time I was married. I've been married for 15 years. At the time I was married, moved here to Birmingham, and shortly after I moved here, I ended up meeting Bernard, which led me to you and Tanya and all that stuff. And before that, honestly, I didn't know what I wanted to do with my career. But being around y'all, start modeling for y'all. Being around y'all made me see that hair was it for me. Because when I started cosmetology school, I realized that, hey, I went to school to be a teacher. I wanted to teach kids, but then I realized how bad these damn kids was getting. I was like, no, I don't want to do that anymore. But it was still in me to be a teacher. And so going to cosmetology school, I realized I could be a teacher because I could be a platform artist. I could be an educator. And then Kevin, y'all were competing and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, I can perform, I can compete, I can do all this, I can do that, I can do makeup if I wanted to, I can have my own salon. It was like so many different things I could do that. I was like, oh, I'm good at that. You know what I'm saying? I want to do those things. But it was just, I came and started working with you, Kevin. That helped me realize what I really wanted to do. But back up for a second, before all that, Beast hit me walking right into that, because I was married for 15 years and my husband was up for a job for a promotion, but we had to relocate. And I love where I was at right now, just getting started with the industry and all that stuff. But I told him, we had a conversation. I was like, hey, I want to start cosmetology school, but I need to know if we're going to relocate or if we're going to stay here, because I don't want to start cosmetology school here and then 2 months down the road, we got to pack up and leave. And he was like, no, go ahead, you good? We can start cosmetology school. That's what you want to do. So I started, and 2 months after I started, he said he was moving.
Wow. He was moving.
He was moving. Yeah. Well, I take that back. I'm sorry. We was thinking we was gonna go together. So I was like, take everything with you, go ahead, and I'll be down there. We had a conversation. He was like, you just finish school and come later. It was kind of like that type of story. You finish the school and come later. But I'm pretty sure in his mind, he was thinking he was going. And then, so I stayed and finished school and everything through that process. We talked on the phone and all that stuff. And eventually, before I finished cosmetology school, we was getting ready to get a divorce.
Wow.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, we had problems before that, honestly. Like, we just grew apart. I got married at an early age. I think I was like 22. And I'll be honest, I didn't get married because I wanted to. I got married to make other people happy. But I mean, I made the best of it. It was a good marriage. I honestly learned a lot, but however, we end up getting a divorce, and it was scary, very scary for me, because I had never lived alone.
So I want to paint a picture here. You are in cosmetology school. You're in your house by yourself. He took everything with him. So you have no furniture.
I had a mattress on the bed and a TV. A mattress on the floor, a TV, and just my clothes.
Wow. While you going through cosmetology school. And he got everything with him. I want to know how that conversation went when he said, how it went from I'm coming later to
we're getting divorced.
Like, what?
Where's the connection?
Cause that's, I mean, you don't want to share it, but that's a.
I mean, I just think within our marriage, like I said, for me, my side of it, I feel like I got married too early. I feel like I didn't get married for the right reasons, and we grew apart.
So basically, it was
he
coming
was
to
also-
a head. It was coming to a
It was
head.
mutual.
Anyway.
Did you ask for it? Did he ask for it?
It was headed there. It was headed there. I wouldn't ask for it. I wouldn't say anything like that, but it was headed there. We really literally became roommates.
Okay.
We literally became roommates.
Do you think he kind of was like, yeah, go do that just so that you'll have something to do?
I
Get
feel
it
like
off.
that. I feel like he was like, yeah, go and start cosmetology school, and his intentions was to go. Knew I wasn't coming, because also at that time I was trying to figure out who I was as a person. Also, because I also realized that the person I was a married person. It wasn't. It was Tammy. It wasn't Tammy. You know. So when it came, I was shocked, but I was okay. You know. But it was totally scary. I went from my mom's house to college to in with him. Never been on my own. I never partied, went out, got to learn who I was in my 20s and all of that stuff. That didn't happen.
So now you're starting a new career on your own, and what about money?
Money was a struggle because I was always afraid of if I was going to be able to make it on my own. I never been on my own. So I was doing whatever I had to do, work different jobs, and one of them was being exotic dancer. I danced for 7 years, and to help support myself, I supported myself with the money from dancing through cosmetology school. And like my instructor knew, he knew, because I was like, Mr. Trotter, I'm so sorry, but like, you know, you have theory first thing in the morning. I'm sleepy. I've been working all night. But that didn't stop me from going home and studying those chapters to make sure I stayed caught up. And yeah, as far as personal, that was like within the industry, that was my struggle, having to go through that divorce. And going through that divorce, I had to go through different phases of my life of learning who I was, what I liked, what I didn't like, what I needed, different stuff like that, just getting to know who I was. And to be honest with you, I still struggle with a lot of those issues now, because being in the industry as a leader, you know, you platforming in front of people, and you know, people, unfortunately, people can be very judgmental, and it's hurtful. It bothers me because I care about what people think of me. I probably shouldn't. You probably shouldn't be just like, oh hell, well, whatever. You know, I'm here for my purpose, and I gotta do what I gotta
Care
do.
about your work.
Yeah,
You put a lot into it, so when someone critiques that negatively, it's hard to.
I care about what you think about me. People, when people say, Kevin, you're arrogant. Kevin, you stuck up. Kevin, you think you know it all of that. Those, I've learned to not show the effect of it, and I've learned to dismiss it quicker. But it's hurtful. It used to really, really bother me, and that's why. And I wouldn't let people say it. There was a time I wouldn't. If you said that I was arrogant, you got a whole spiel on what arrogant really meant and how I'm nothing like an arrogant person. Because to me, an arrogant person think that they make it on their own by their own talent or strength. And I'm sitting here saying, everything I know, everything I got come from God. So don't take my God out of my life. I don't like being called arrogant. I've learned to just let a person go on by their business because they don't know no better. You know, but it does matter what a person think of you. It matters. I mean, it matters to me. It ain't as easy as just you have to learn how to let it just be water off your back.
Yeah, I know, but that is a struggle for me to just let it be water off my back.
Yeah.
But I'm working on that. I'm working on that because the thing about it is I have to be happy. You know, and I can't allow what other people think just tear me down. You know, and that's why, like I said, we gotta commit.
What about being an attractive woman in this field?
I get a lot of heat on that. Reason being,
I mean,
because
you're not that cute. Audrey, can you?
What?
No, seriously though, how that feel? Because I know you got to have different challenges. Because you go in and out of salons all the time. You know.
It bothers me too because honestly, sometimes I feel like I go in a salon and women won't even hear anything I have to say about nothing. They like totally toning me out because I just walked in. You know, I had a conversation with a distributor one time, and this guy is so relaxed. Like, he's very casual. Like, he'll show up with a beat up t-shirt on, khakis, and some flip flops, no socks. And he distribute, and he was like, and they buy from him. So I talked to him. I was like, hey, what do you think it is? Why do people not buy from me or something? And he was like, because you're an attractive woman. You walk in. He was like, they eyeing you down before you walk coming down the hallway. And he was like, and when you come in, they ain't trying to hear nothing you got to say. He said, but me? He says the difference between a woman and a man. He was like, because I can come in looking like I look, and they still gonna buy from me, not even think twice about it. And that is very hurtful too, because my thing is, I had a lot of changes with my body, and I'm sure a lot of black women have changes with their body, or a lot of women, period. But I just recently had surgery. I have a lot of emotional issues from that surgery, and just female problems, you know, that I got a new body now I got to adjust to. And
you'll have to elaborate a little more than that, because people's imagination gonna go crazy.
Well,
that type of body she's not.
Well,
were you born Tim?
No, absolutely not. I'm too fine for that. But no.
Nah, I'm making a joke of it, but seriously though, a little elaboration. So.
Well, I just recently had a full hysterectomy, but it's been years of having to go under the knife for different issues when it came to my body. The first thing was probably I had to have back surgery, and after I had my back surgery, I think 2 years later, I had to have double knee surgery. While all this going on, I was having fibroid issues. I ended up having to get my fibroids removed like the next year after I had my knee surgery, and they found some cells they said could form into this like new type of rare cancer that was out that didn't respond to chemo. So there's a possibility I'm fighting cancer now, or just trying to prevent from getting it, you know. So
that's what led to the hysterectomy, right?
Yes, because when I had my fibroid surgery, they found these cells within the fibroids. 4 months later, go back in for another testing, and already the cells, or some cells, were back. So they was like, this is progressive. And we can't tell if it's the cancer cells or if it's something else unless we go in and take it out. And while we're in there, we just need to go ahead and try to nip all this in the bud and just take everything. So even if it is the cancer cells, now it has nothing grown. Right. So, okay, and y'all, that was a big struggle for me because I don't have kids. I always wanted to have at least one. I wanted to see my face, you know. And I don't know if y'all really listened or paid attention, but, you know, we did, we just competed in August. And like Kevin was telling his story earlier, he started out with something meaningful. How it made him feel, telling he was the underdog and all that stuff. But if y'all notice and y'all listen to the opening hour of ours, it was called titled "It's My Time," because we want to share all our struggles, but at the same time let you know we've overcome those, and here tonight we here to win.
Victory.
You know, yes, victory. So, in my moment of speaking, I shared that I was deprived from having children, and that's what I was talking about when having to go through this process. It was very scary for me, and it's very scary because I'm alone. I don't have any. I'm in Birmingham, Alabama, but my husband left, and that was in 2005. It's 2019, so I've been alone all those. 20, yeah.
15 years.
So it's been 15 years, and I've been by myself, and for 15 years, I just been putting myself in my work because that's what I love to do. But yeah,
I can see that. I mean, you know, people don't really understand what's going on. So here you're putting your heart and your everything, you know, because you like you said, you would love to have a family, but you don't have your family. So you put everything you have into your work. And as you're going around trying to help people, they're rejecting you. They're rejecting your help. Try to, you know, introduce them to products to help. They won't even give you a time of day for that. You know, I you know, sometimes people just don't understand what folk go through. You know, and then, I mean, I know how challenging it is at your workplace as well. You know, working with the companies that we work for. Shoot, even with Kirk Pro and Babylon's Pro, it's constantly changing. And, you know, where you think that 1 minute you got security here, or you know, then something happens and now you feel, you know, you're not as secure as you thought you were last year. You know, so I definitely can see that being a major challenge for you. How do you cope with feeling? Have you learned to be comfortable with being uncomfortable yet? Because there's nothing really. We all want that sense of security to say, okay, I don't have to worry about this. But most people find an anchor with a spouse or their boyfriend, God, or money, something other than themselves. Where is your anchor? What keeps you grounded? What keeps you going when it's all said and done? Because we definitely can see your beast. Where your beauty come from? What keeps you still moving forward and giving your heart out? You still good,
Still
right?
doing 10%. 10%.
You can move this one.
Checking, he said 20 a minute ago, now saying 10.
I have a battery pack right there.
Nah, it goes in the battery. But you just gonna keep on. Shoot, come on. We got that camera.
Did you want to put that in the middle?
Nah, we just roll with it. I think it's a good shot. Tap it right here.
Yeah, it's a good shot.
It's a good shot. Oh, sorry. That bad.
Need, hey, better catch it.
All right. So, Tammy, where your beauty come from? Maybe somebody else can put their phone right there. Don't
Not
need one of
that one.
those.
I can try that.
10%. 10% is like 6 minutes. If that.
well, we're at the end now.
Yeah, thoughts together. I think it's been good, guys. I guess we all know each other a little bit better, huh?
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie.
What?
Part 1 of 10.
I see it. I see it.
You see her?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So
I
again,
see me too.
Tammy, I think we all respect your beast. We all see your challenges, you know. But what's your driving force to keep you going, to keep you anchored, to keep you moving forward?
It's that one person that I do reach. I have taught classes, and like in the midst of that class, I catch somebody in tears. Because I've helped them realize something, and they want to commit to working on it. And it's just being able to help others. That's one thing that keeps me going, because for one, I've been just doing things, and I always wondered what my purpose was. But I realized it's to help people in any way it can. It may not be money. It could just be a word of encouragement. And that's my beauty. The people that I meet, the people that support me. Like, a lot of times I don't feel like I have support, but at the same time, I do know there are some people I can call and they'll be there. Like Kenya, like Kiki, like Aja, yeah. And especially you,
Reggie.
Not Reggie.
Especially Reggie.
but Reggie too. But you the most, Kevin. I have grown to what I am now a whole lot because of you. A lot of things I did not realize, I realized because of you. And, you know, you're making an impression, and you're on people, and you're helping Ricky and Miranda and a whole lot more than you probably even know of. Like Ricky said, she was in the audience just watching for years. And you have taught me a whole lot, and it has helped me get to where I am now. Yes, I have my fears. It's human nature to get scared. But it's like, are you going to allow those fears to hold you back, or are you going to push through? And I push through. I feel like I push through, not as fast as you want me to, but I push through. Sometimes I have to push through at my own pace, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, just the people that I meet and being able to help others. And I just feel like, we just need to grow as a community. We need to start supporting our own Black-owned businesses and stop being judgmental and all that stuff, and get to know a person before, you just make some kind of assumption about them, and yeah. That's about it, for real.
That's good.
That's my heart right there.
That's good. Y'all want to say anything? We good? Say something.
Thank you for your sharing.
You're welcome.
You want to share something real quick? Short and sweet.
I was preparing the whole time to share, and then I cut it off.
Well, I'll just share. I'll make mine real quick.
Go with
Just to
it.
put it out there. As far as having beast in my life, most of the things that we deal with in our life as adults stem from childhood. And you may not exactly realize exactly like the moment it happened or the root that it happened, like the root of it, but it's definitely something that eventually you identify with, and oftentimes it carries on into your adulthood. And for me, I've dealt with like self-worth and a lack of value, and also putting other people's wants and needs before my own, and putting their opinions before my own too, was one of my biggest challenges. And people call that, there's a title for it, people pleaser. So definitely, like I said, I don't know the moment it happened, like that caused me to be so deeply rooted in it, but it could have something to do with the fact that my father, kind of like a similar story to your husband, he pretty much abandoned me and my mom. Like, I was a year and a half old. I don't remember. My mom tells me the story because I don't remember everything, obviously. But we were living in Tulsa at the time, and my dad decided he didn't like Tulsa. He was a taxi, Africans, taxi drivers, convenience stores. They do that. They have those type of occupations. But he was a taxi driver. He didn't like Tulsa. It was too slow for him. So he decided that he wanted to move to St. Petersburg, Florida, get on his feet. He told my mom, you and I will go back to Mississippi, and when I get myself situated, I'll send for y'all. Well, we did just that. She said some time went by. I'm not sure exactly how much, but when they did have a conversation about it, his response was, well, I just don't want to get into that. So, and then of course my mom, she doesn't really tell me like the meat and potatoes behind it, but as a result, we never went to Florida, and ultimately, I really don't have that many memories of my father. I really don't have any memories of my father except for years later, he was about to be deported to Africa for whatever reason, and so he needed my mom to come to New York to prove that they were still married so that he could stay in the States.
Wow.
She agreed to do that only because, well, not only, but mostly because she knew that one day I'd probably want to have a relationship with him. So she agreed. I was 4 at that time. So a year and a half to 4 years old was the next time we saw him. I don't remember this, but she does. And she says that when they got everything situated as far as the paperwork and her proving that they were still married so that he could stay, she told me, she was like, look at your daddy, because you never know, this might be the last time you see him or something like that. Well, it ended up being the last time that I would physically see him, which again, I don't remember during that time, but it was definitely the last time, because he ended up going back to St. Petersburg. We went back to Mississippi, and then at some point we moved to Texas, and then he decided to reach out to us. By then I was 10 or almost 10, somewhere up in there. So he reached out to, he was able to get in contact with us through the house in Mississippi. Called the house in Mississippi. My aunt gave him the information, told us we were now in Texas. So he wanted to get in contact with us. I'm sure he was thinking about it a lot. He was sick. He was on